As key assistants on the Giants staff, Handley and Belichick were destined to be part of the team's second Super Bowl championship at season's end. But what a difference a year makes. Belichick's brilliance as a defensive coordinator led to the head coaching job in Cleveland, where his invigorated Browns have sought to shake off last season's disaster by winning 2 of their first 3 games.
We hung in there, made the plays when we had to, and just real proud of the way they played and kept playing. I think that's kind of the personality of the team and the personality of our players.
Having inherited the Giants' top job when Parcells retired, Ray Handley knows all about great expectations. His defending champions have felt the weight of that burden, stumbling to a 1-2 start.
Obviously, there are mistakes that are made during the course of the game. I think that this week in practice, we have to address how we may have avoided those mistakes or how we can prevent them from reoccurring.
So the Giants and Browns have reached an early season crossroad. 2 teams, each with rookie head coaches, both bearing the weight of the recent past into the reality of the season's 4th week.
NBC Sports presents the National Football League. Today, it's the Cleveland Browns versus the New York Giants.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Giants Stadium. Today, the Giants and the Cleveland Browns. And we have just a touch of autumn in the air. The temperature is 66 degrees, the wind at 6 miles an hour, and the forecast is for sunny. Hello, everybody. I'm Charlie Jones along with Todd Christensen. And continuing the theme of our opening, just a year ago at this time, we asked both now head coaches and assistant coaches if they thought that anything like this would happen in a year's time. They said, no way. They couldn't imagine it in their wildest imagination, but it is here for both of them.
Not only what a difference a year makes, what a difference one game makes. You know, last week, Cleveland in dramatic fashion wins. All of a sudden, Bill Belichick is the savior of the Cleveland franchise. New York, on the other hand, loses in the last minute, and as a result, there's all sorts of problems with the Giants. The Giants have gone from champs to chumps, even though I'd say that losing in Chicago by a field goal at the end is hardly a disgrace.
The New York Giants have won the toss. They will be receiving with Meggett and Ingram as the return men, and Matt Stover, the former Giant, is kicking off for the Cleveland Browns. And at the 5-yard line, here is Meggett on the return. Near the 24-yard line where Richard Brown makes the tackle. We'll take a look at the offense of New York with Elliott, Roberts, Oates, Moore, and Riesenberg in that offensive line. Hostetler, Anderson, Carthen, Ingram, Baker, and Cross. And then Meggett and McCaffrey and Otis Turner come in when they go to the passing situation of 3rd and long. First down at the 25, and the Giants come out throwing a little swing right side to Hampton. And he will pick up 3, maybe 4 on the play. Van Waiters makes the tackle. The front 7 for the Browns: Burnett Jones, Michael Dean Perry, Anthony Pleasant, Van Waiters, Mike Johnson, Clay Matthews. And the Giants very quickly over the ball, changing the whole tempo of what we have seen with them this year. And Meggett gets the call just across the 30 to the 31-yard line. Minifield, Hilliard, Barnett, and Newsom, the standard 4 in the secondary, and Braggs and Florence will come in when they go to the nickel. And again, the Giants, they said they would put in a wrinkle, Todd. We didn't expect this of a hurry-up offense on the opening drive to be that wrinkle.
Taking a chapter from the team they defeated in the Super Bowl.
Little play action fake, throw underneath the coverage. It is complete. It will be close.
Fumble.
They have to fumble. The ball is loose. The Giants recovered back at the 26, but that was 3rd down. And so the kicking team will come in.
Well, here they went with the no huddle. It's going to be a short pass. They're counting on Rodney Hampton to get the first down. Good tackle right here. Mike Johnson comes in, but Waiters is able to strip the ball, but nobody knows it. Now all of a sudden a mad scramble for the ball, and luckily Stephen Baker is there to pick it up for the Giants. And down on the field right now, a key player for the Cleveland Browns, their leading tackler, Mike Johnson. You know, it's interesting. Watching him hop off the field, it's interesting that some people don't want to be carried off. It's important to them. Mike Johnson, the club record holder for tackles in a season, collided with Van Waiters on the tackle on Hampton. And it's interesting, you can see getting up. It's very important to some players not to be carried off the field. Look how he shrugs off the trainer. No, no, no. I want to go off under my own power.
We are back live. Sean Landetta will be kicking, and Eric Metcalf is the return man for the Browns. Good kick. Taken at the 26-yard line. And excellent coverage by the Giants. Roger Brown makes the tackle, and we'll now take a look at the offensive set of the Cleveland Browns. Tony Jones, Rienstra, Babb, King, and Fike, that offensive line. With Bernie Kosar, Metcalf, Mack, Slaughter, Jackson, and Galbraith as the backs and receivers. When they go to their three wide, the tight end comes out, Brian Brennan comes in. Cleveland's first opportunity on offense. And Kosar this year likes to throw on first down. He goes long. It is incomplete to the youngster, the speedster, Michael Jackson. And it'll be second down, but that'll loosen up your secondary. Let's check out that Giant defense. First things first. Fox, Washington is starting at nose tackle for Eric Howard, who is not playing in the ballgame. Leonard Marshall, Carl Banks, Reasons, Johnson, and LT. And in the secondary, Collins, Williams, Walls, and Guyton. And their nickel, the nose tackle, comes out, and Greg Jackson, although bothered by an ankle injury, he will come in. Second and 10. And here is Metcalf to the 34-yard line.
Charlie, that first play, I know that Bernie wishes he could have had that one back. He had Michael Jackson open for 6. But even if he doesn't get it, that's a purpose play. That's one of those situations where he's telling the New York Giant defense, we're not going to be conservative here. We are going to try and stretch you guys. And that puts something in their minds for the rest of the game.
Did the offense of the Giants, the hurry-up offense opening, does that put something in the mind of the Cleveland Browns?
Well, I think it does, but only if they do it effectively. If somehow Cleveland would have come back with that fumble, I'm sure that the Giants would have junked it for the rest of the game.
3rd and 7. Kosar from the shotgun. Reaching out and making the grab is Brian Brennan. Let's see where they spot it. And he will not pick up the first down. It'll be about a half a yard shot. As Everson Walls, who starts his strong safety with Perry Williams on the right corner. Defensively for the Giants, Walls was there. And Brian Hansen on 4th down will be kicking, with Meggett set for the return. You can feel the enthusiasm and the excitement in the air here at Giant Stadium.
Yeah, but I think this is, well, they're not going to do it, but this would have been a great time for a fake.
Terrible kick. He hit it fat, got completely under. And the Giants will take over with good field position. They'll start from the 34. Back in a moment.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Lexus Luxury Automobiles, the result of a relentless pursuit of perfection. By Kentucky Fried Chicken, nobody's cooking like today's KFC. By Liberty Mutual, we're our customers' advocate at Liberty Mutual because we understand the costs involved. And by Coors Light, the silver bullet is the right beer now.
Following a 25-yard kick by Brian Hansen, Giants on the offense. And while we were away, Mike Johnson, the middle linebacker for the Browns, has gone in for an x-ray on that right ankle. And this is Richard Brown out of San Diego State, who will be replacing. That's a big loss for Cleveland's defense.
Very big. Talking about 161 tackles last season. And once again, as I mentioned, the leading tackler for the Browns this season as well.
Play action fake, and the pass is going to be incomplete.
Oh, and look at this. He took a shot at the old head coach.
Oh, no.
Right there, if you get a chance. Mark Ingram ran into Bill Belichick, the man in the orange shirt.
Now, let's point out that he was not his coach. He was the defensive coordinator.
And let's also point out that the guy in the orange shirt is not wearing any pads. He may be a coordinator, but oh, my goodness. Tough shot. Little forearm. Right here at the end, you can see he's out of bounds, but Bill Belichick, showing that he lacks the mobility necessary to play cornerback, goes down in a heap.
Now that will be reviewed by the players next week. Second down. Another play action fake. Then dumped over the middle to Hampton. Near the first down at the 44-yard line. Van Waiters with the tackle.
Very uncharacteristic of the New York offense. They've only had one running play thus far. They've thrown the ball on every other down, and Rodney Hampton does a good job of running between the 40 and 45. He should have been stopped at around the 41, but he enabled himself to show some power, and they're close to the first down.
It'll be third down, about half a yard to go for the first down.
You know, Rodney Hampton really came into his own last week. You can see right there the receptions that he had last week. He also had 15 carries for 61 yards, and he's the guy they're really looking to replace Otis Anderson full time.
And we asked Otis about him. He said he can be just as good as he wants to be. And he wants to break this one. He's to the 40, the 30, inside the 15-yard line. Hilliard saves a touchdown.
Terrific job by Rodney Hampton following his fullback. Take a look at this. They seal everybody off. The only guy left is Minifield, and he's no match for Moore. Now look at Carthen taking out the safety. Terrific block by Carthen. A 43-yard gallop there at the end. He doesn't necessarily trust his speed as he cuts back inside. Hilliard makes the touchdown-saving tackle. Hilliard
really plays him well because he could have lost him when he came back in on him.
That's exactly right. Plus the fact that Hilliard is a mere 162 pounds.
First down, 13-yard line. Lewis Tillman, who did not play last week, and head coach Ray Hanley said that he wanted to get him in the ball game, carries here. Michael Dean Perry with the stop at the 10.
Now, Charlie, one of the arguments that actually you and I have actually had for the first 3 weeks is whether or not it's better to have that one guy be your great runner, or if you can do it by committee. Both Bill Belichick and Ray Hanley told us that they do want to have that one guy that they can go to 20 carries a game. In the case for the Giants, they want that guy to be Hampton. For the Browns, they want it to be Kevin Mack.
He spotted at the 11, so it is second down and 8 to go for the first down. And the pitch is to Tillman. Inside the 5 to the 4. Close to the first down. Vince Newsom saves a touchdown.
Part of the problem here is the Browns tackling, but one of the things you have to like about Tillman and the coaches do, this is what's known as going north and south. Look at him cutting up behind the block of Roberts, going north and south, not making any funny moves, cutting through the tackle of Minifield, and enabling the Giants to come just short of a first down, or maybe not. Once again, I'm not going to guess on the measurement.
And the chains come out. Just shy of the first down. Officially, that romp by Rodney Hampton was 44 yards, and that is his career best.
Must have fatigued him, too, because since that run, he hasn't been back in the lineup. Tillman's doing the work.
During the regular season last year against Buffalo, he went for 41 yards.
66.
Going on the first down, it is Hampton to the 1. It'll be first and goal to go.
Charlie, that's the exact same play that he went 44 yards on before. They run behind the right side. They put William Roberts, a guard, out at the tight end position. Take a look at number 66 leading the play. He's at tight end. He's just too big for Van Waiters. You can see right there a nice job by Carthen kicking out on Clay Matthews, and Hampton's able to cut inside for the first down.
First down, goal to go. Hampton leans in behind the block of Maurice Carthen. Fumble and a scramble at the bottom. The Browns say they have it, and the officials agree.
That's a good call by the officials, Charlie. A lot of times when the guy jumps into the pile like that, they'll just say, oh, no, his forward motion is stopped. If you get a chance to see it on the replay, you can see that he does drop the ball before he goes in. And the ex-Ram Vince Newsom comes up with a big play. Take a look for yourself, ladies and gentlemen, to see where his forward motion goes. The ball comes out right there. Right there. There it is. Newsom right on top of it. Good call by the officials. From the back, you can see Hampton cut in right there. There it goes. Ball's long gone. Look, he's trying to get it back. He knows that it's a fumble as well. Nice job by Vince Newsom, a Plan B acquisition from the Rams, who has really helped to solidify that Browns secondary.
And so the Browns have the ball at their own 40-yard line. And they come back with Kevin Mack just trying to find some running room. And he is across the 10 to the 11-yard line. So he has 7. It'll be 2nd down and 3.
You know, Charlie, back in 1985, Kevin Mack had an 1,100-yard season. I remember because clear back when I was playing, we were in the Pro Bowl together, and people were talking about how great this guy was going to be. Since then, his numbers have diminished. And the thing is he really hasn't had that many carries, and I think the Cleveland Brown organization is wondering what the mystery is, and they feel as if that he still has that capacity to have a 1,000-yard season.
And now messages are being relayed to coaches on both sides by the officials. And they may have some lost communication to the press box. And if that happens, then they have to take their headsets off on both sidelines. Now, we are assuming that is the message that they brought as the coaches have taken off their headset. They've got to feel lost without a headset on. Second down and Kevin Mack again. Near the 15-yard line, so he could well pick up the first down. And he does. The first thing, of course, he wanted to do is to at least come out with some punting room. And now they've got a first down. The next goal would be to cross the 30-yard line and then just move up by increments and not try to get it all back at once.
You know, you talk about if they're losing the headsets, if that means that Bernie Kosar has to call his own plays, that's no problem. Last week, the offense didn't do terribly well. He called his own plays during that last winning drive when they were able to get the field goal.
Good move for the Giant defense, but Mack counters on the far side, works his way back to the line of scrimmage. And a flag is down. It will go against the Browns. And the report is official that we have problems with the headsets on the Giant side. And so that means that the Cleveland Browns have to take their headsets off until it can be repaired.
I like that. Now it's to the own player's design. You know how I've argued about that. I want that tennis rule invoked. Let the players play.
Holding, number 83. Half the distance, still first down.
That's on the tight end, Darrell Ingram.
I was going to say, what I mean by that for the uninitiated is you get a chance to see Mike Johnson back on the sidelines. We'll give you a report as to whether or not he's going to come back in. The tennis rule I'm referring to is, of course, those who are big tennis fans realize that you cannot coach once the people are out on the field. I'm for that in football, too.
And the Giants say they have it.
Usually when it takes that long, the offense has it back, and that's exactly what happened. This is a wham play. This is not exactly how Joe Morris wanted to come back. First carry back in his old haunts, and Joe Morris can't hang on to the ball. You can see Bernie leaning just a little bit there, and it goes right through the legs of John Washington. Nice effort there
like
by John Rinstra to make the recovery. John Rinstra, a Plan B free agent from the Pittsburgh Steelers, a former first-round pick of Temple. And you can see Joe Morris coming off the field. Not exactly an auspicious start to returning to Giant Stadium.
And Mack is dropped. He'll lose a couple of yards back to the 6 as the New York Giant defense begins to assert itself. And now let's check in with the Schick Tracer 10-minute ticker. Miami, Don Shula going for win number 300 out in front of Green Bay. Pittsburgh leading the Eagles. New England up by 3 over Houston in the first, but it is early. Washington by 3 over Cincinnati. That's expected. And Atlanta with the early lead over the Raiders. Minnesota, New Orleans, no score. Indianapolis out in front of Detroit, 10-0. That's upset working there. Detroit looked good last week. From the shotgun, the inside handoff to Mack. And the Giant defense was just waiting on that play. led by Carl Banks. And the crowd on their feet here at Giant Stadium cheering the defense.
Charlie, I realize that Cleveland was in bad field position, but that was really that was very, very predictable. When you come up and you have 3rd and long to go with the draw play, very safe. The Giants were waiting for it.
Bad series for the Browns. Brian Hansen. And this time he gets a good one off. Meggett fields it at the Giant 44 to the 50. And New York will go to work on the Cleveland side of the field as Brian Kitchen makes the tackle. We'll step away. We'll be back in just a moment. No score. The kick, he had 50 yards on this one. Here's the return.
Well, the tackle here was made by Brian Kitchen, a graduate of LSU, and he was at home in Baton Rouge hanging up some paper, you know, just trying to get a job going, trying to get a teaching job. He gets a call from the Browns to come back and be their long snapper, and here he is. Once again, the serendipity of pro football.
And here is Lewis Tillman around the left side and bumped out of bounds at the 40-yard line. A gain of 8. It'll be 2nd down and 2. Newsom with the tackle. Let's go to Bob Costas for an update.
Charlie, in Atlanta, Jay Schrader drops to throw for the Raiders. Deion Sanders comes from the blind side, dislodges the ball. It bounces into the hands of Jesse Tuggle. 18 yards later, he's in the end zone. Then with the Raiders driving, Sanders intercepts Schrader to take the ball away. Falcons 7, Raiders zip.
And Bob, here at Giants Stadium, we have no score between Cleveland and the New York Giants. The Giants looking as the more impressive team of the two, but they haven't been able to get in the end zone. Now, he can drop a flag on this, and the referee is not. That is intentional grounding. There is no question about it. There was not a receiver anywhere. He had 2 Cleveland Brown players all over him, and he is shaken up on the play.
Michael Dean Perry shows why he has been a 2-time Pro Bowler. Watch from the right side of your screen. Watch number 92 make the move and get past Bart Oates right in Hostetler's face. Where is he throwing the ball? The only guy there is Doug Riesenberg, as you said. That's one of those, it's a very subjective call, but I agree with you. That could have been intentional grounding.
Interesting, if you could take another quick look at the end of it, and that is the fact that Tom White, the referee, is so involved of making sure that Hostetler's all right, which that is one of his responsibilities. He is seeing what the defenders do to him and not watching where the ball is going. And the handoff is to Tillman. And he picks up the first down. Now let's go back to the end of that last play and take a look.
One of the things that the referee also has to do is he's checking Michael Dean Perry to see if it could possibly be in the grasp, and it's awfully close, but as you say, right there at the end, Hostetler just wants to get rid of it and avoid the sack. His eyes are looking down. He's looking down to see, trying to protect the quarterback, and as a result, he misses the intentional grounding, which turned out to be a big play because now the Giants have the first down driving on the 30-yard line.
Tillman with a yard, maybe 2, and Richard Brown, who has replaced Mike Johnson, makes the tackle. The report on Mike Johnson is that he could return. We'll keep an eye out to see if he does.
There you get a chance to see Mike Johnson. You know, Richard Brown just made the tackle on that last play. Oddly enough, when Mike Johnson earlier in that first series, you recall, they ran the ball but 1 time and threw 6. Now that he's been replaced, they're having some effectiveness in the middle of the line running. The Giants aren't stupid. They're going to take advantage of an inexperienced middle linebacker.
And we'll have a false start called on Jumbo Elliott as he made a move at offensive left tackle, and that will cost him a quick 5 yards.
You know, Phil Simms.
False start, 76 offense, 5 yards. Prior to the snap, still 2nd down.
Everybody remembers that Jumbo Elliott was the one that dominated Bruce Smith in the Super Bowl. When we had a chance to talk with Phil Simms yesterday, he told us that he had the exact right temperament for a left tackle.
He said he's mean and ugly.
Well, he's also 6'7" and about 300 pounds.
And he said he is a man. And he said he'll hit you every way and then stomp on you. And we'll have an offsides call against the Browns. Free play, and it is incomplete. Going to Ingram on the far side. Minifield with the coverage, but Rob Burnett had a couple of steps into the Giant backfield. So they'll get the penalty back that they had on the false start.
Both sides. Number 90 defense. 5 yards. Still second down.
You know, you mentioned the fact that he was such a man. Take a look at this. First, we're going to chance to see the offside. You can see that Burnett is clearly offside. On that last play, we got a chance to see John Elliott dominate his man, as we mentioned. He made a good allusion to the fact that everybody assumes, you know, the players have this kind of macho thing working about men. But when Phil Simms said John Elliott is a man, you know, there's a real accent to that.
Play action fake. Hostetler looks left, comes back right, and it is incomplete to Ingram as he is upended by Minifield. And it'll be 3rd down and 9.
Frank Minifield look in the backfield. He's a veteran and he's quick. Watch him come off here. The ball's a little bit too high, but watch him run right into Ingram and make sure he does not get the ball.
And you know about that little black book that defensive corners keep on receivers? Well, he's taking it one step further, high-tech.
Yeah, he is high-tech. He has his own computer on the receivers. But he admits to the fact that sometimes even the technology works. In the final analysis, the body still has to come through.
3rd and 9. A hard count almost draws Cleveland offside. Underneath the covers to Mega, and he is pulled down. Good defensive play by Stephen Braggs. He just held on until he got some help. And Matt Barr will come in with a field goal attempt.
Charlie, certainly one of the most difficult players to tackle in the open field has to be number 30 for the New York Giants, Dave Mega. There he has the field. Take a look at Braggs. Gets him by the shoulder. Does a nice job of just holding on. And once again, those tackified gloves come through. A great play by Stephen Braggs.
Hostetler will hold Matt Barr from 45 yards away, just inside the 35-yard line. And he's got it. And the Giants move out in front 3-0. Matt Barr has reached a scoring plateau. He now becomes the 18th all-time NFL scorer, but he now has cracked the 1,000-point barrier, and he joins some great names. As he kicks off. And this is Morris on the return, and Joe comes across the 20 to the 21-yard line.
You know, one of the things about this, Charlie, one of those great names that you alluded to happens to be a relative, a teammate of mine for a decade, Chris Barr. Now, what's interesting about that is that you and I have gone over a number of times the fact that there are brothers who have been successful in sports. Walter and Eddie Payton, for instance, in football, the Van Arsdale twins, the Grant twins, Horace and Harvey in basketball. But never have two brothers gotten to this level of excellence. Both Chris Barr and Matt Barr, 1,000-point scorers each.
Cleveland at the 20. Kozar drops it over the middle to Webster Slaughter, and he goes out to the 25-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 5. And back to more of the Matt Barr story, the fact that normally when you have like the Aarons in home runs, one brother has done so much better than the other, but here they have both accomplished the 1,000-point barrier, and some of those great names include Jan Stenerud, George Blandon. It goes on and on. So this is quite a moment for this young man, and a nice moment for us to share with him.
Interesting enough, when we brought it up to him yesterday, he said that he and his brother now could do the American Express commercial saying, "Do you know who we are? We're the only two brothers to ever score 1,000 points apiece." I thought that was pretty funny.
2nd and 5. Pass is incomplete to Michael Jackson. And some of those other names that we were talking about on that all-time list, we'll take a look. Blanda, Stenerud, Turner.
Leahy's still playing.
Lou Groza, Gino
Nick Lowry's
Cappelletti.
still playing. Eddie Murray still playing.
Yes.
Pretty impressive list, though. Only 4 on the active list, over 1,000 points, and that man has just joined it with his 45-yard field goal. Quite a milestone. A tribute to both he and his brother in terms of longevity.
Third down and 5. Pressure from the backside. It's LT.
many things to say about Lawrence Taylor. But one of the things that he does do is he gets upfield. Tony Jones has the wrong angle. It's all over right there. Even though he grabs the jersey, it's too late. Lawrence Taylor is afforded the luxury of getting off the ball quicker than almost anybody. Has LT lost anything?
No.
I don't think so.
Into the first quarter. Giants lead at 3-0. Meggett at the 35 to the 40. Nice return to the 48, maybe the 49-yard line, where Scott Galbraith makes the tackle. Now let's go back to LT, Lawrence Taylor. He has great anticipation.
Well, you know, one of the things that LT does is so impressive. Take a look at him right here on the outside, is that he is actually going to beat Tony Jones out of his stance. Take a look at that. Now, that's one of the things that you get for 10 years in the league and 10 times All-Pro. You could actually say that he was offsides, but he's one of the great ones, so they're going to let him have it. LT has not lost a thing.
Being empty, well, this one is full, but it's full of ice. That's Mike Johnson, the report now, badly sprained foot. Tried to put some weight on it a minute ago as we were watching him. He probably will not return. And here's Rodney Hampton. And he'll pick up 2, maybe 3 yards on the play. It'll be second down. Burnett with the tackle. Here's Bob Costas and an update.
Battle of 2-1 teams at Veterans Stadium. 7-all tie is snapped. When after hitting Eric Green for a 50-yard gain, Bubby Brister immediately goes back to the outstanding young tight end for the touchdown. It covers 8 yards. Brister's second TD pass of the day. Earlier, he had hit Merrill Hodge. Pittsburgh 14, Philly 7.
All right, thank you, Bob. Here are the score. The Giants 3 and Cleveland nothing. Matt Barr's 1,000-point total now with that 44-yard field goal. Hostetler play action fake. Good scrambler. He's to the 40. Nice spin move to the 36-yard line.
You know, I'm sure people in the New York area are arguing, why didn't they stay with Phil Simms? Right here was the deciding factor of just Jeff Hostetler over Phil Simms for the starting quarterback job of the Giants. Watch him cut upfield. You just can't teach this kind of mobility. Nice run, breaks away from Brown, gets the first down. Anytime you talk to a defensive coordinator, they say one of the scariest things is a mobile quarterback.
Gain of 12 on the play. First down at the Cleveland 36-yard line. And here is Hampton. To the 34-yard line. He has a couple. It'll be second down and 8. Michael Dean Perry and Richard Brown were there. As we check the ITT 10-minute ticker, Miami leads Green Bay by 3. Again, Don Shula going for number 300. Pittsburgh up by 7 over the Eagles. Houston and New England are now tied as the Oilers have countered with a field goal. Cincinnati in front of Washington. That is interesting. Raiders continue to trail Atlanta. New Orleans in front of Minnesota. And the Colts now by 3 over Detroit. And here the Giants lead the Browns 3-0. With 12:43 left to go in the first half as Carthen gets the call to the 31-yard line. So it'll be third down and around 5 with Richard Brown and Van Waiters making the tackle. We'll go back to the opening drive by the Giants, and they came out with a hurry-up offense. They came out throwing the ball. They set a whole different tempo and pace to the game than what everybody expected. Now they've reverted back to the standby hardcore running game, smash mouth football.
Yeah, well, Ray Hanley went back to that old theory of Bum Phillips. You dance with who brung you. You know, they threw those passes, fumbled, didn't work out. Now they go back to what they've done, what they do well, and they're effective, driving once again.
But they brung you only a 1-2 record. Here's Meggett. And he has to battle his way back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be fourth down, and the natives are beginning to get restless.
Well, you know, they complain about trying to try some different things. That's exactly what they're doing. Dave Meggett was there to throw a halfback pass, but the secondary for the Browns wasn't fooled. You can see right from that get-go, going back deep right there, you can see nobody's fooled by that. He almost makes it through, but give credit to Richard Brown, once again, the man who is replacing Mike Johnson. He makes the first down saving tackle.
From the 39, a 49-yard field goal attempt by Matt Barr. Hostetler will hold. Diassi is the snapper. Good snap, good hold. And it's another 3. So Matt Barr is now hit from 44 and 49 yards. Giants lead it 6-0. This is Charlie Jones and Todd Christensen. Welcome back to Giants Stadium as Matt Barr is kicking off. Giants out in front by a pair of field goals. And Joe Morris, the former New York Giant, and he ends up amongst his old teammates. He has quite a group of friends. We asked him how many tickets did he have for this game. He said, I had 27. Now they're seating up in this section. And Bernie Kosar came over and said, how many? And he said, well, I turned off the phone after 27.
You know, I really think that Joe Morris has a chance to do some very good things with Cleveland. And the parallel is to Otis Anderson. You know, when Otis Anderson came over from St. Louis, he was around 29, 30 years of age. His legs have been rested for 2 or 3 years. And all of a sudden, he had a couple of really big seasons with the Giants. Joe Morris is only 31 years of age. I think he can do the same thing.
The Cleveland Browns need to get some offense going. And Metcalf is in all kinds of problems. Big loss.
You would have thought that the Cleveland Browns would have learned from the New York Giants. This is the same thing. Here's a halfback pass. You can see him cutting back. He's ready to throw the ball, but he's covered. Now Mark Collins does a good job, even though he doesn't get him down. He's able to force him so the pursuit can catch up to him, force him out of bounds for a big loss.
Excellent play by Mark Collins. Both head coaches, Ray Handley and Bill Belichick, when we talked and said, we expect some wrinkles, and the wrinkles really haven't worked. Loss of 12, 2nd and 22. Kosar needs to get part of it back. Screen left side. Kevin Mack. He overthrows it. It'll be 3rd down and 22.
He had Lawrence Taylor in his face, and Taylor went over to the official to complain about being held. But that's one of the reasons it hurried Kosar, because that's not that difficult of a pass. But he saw Taylor coming, threw it a little bit too high.
And pressure is a quarterback's biggest nightmare. Not necessarily the sack, but pressure, because that's when you have to hurry the throw. That's where you throw it up, and it can be intercepted.
If you got a chance to see right there at the bottom of your screen, Tony Jones does indeed pull Lawrence Taylor down.
And 22. Kosar throws, pass is complete as he goes to Brennan, and he is sandwiched in the air.
You know, the crowd cheers, and it's a big hit and everything else, but the compliment goes to Brian Brennan for hanging on to the ball. I know that this crowd is excited, and rightfully so. The Giant defense is playing very well, but that was a terrific catch by Brennan in traffic. A man coming off a hamstring injury, small guy about 180 pounds coming up with that catch. I'm sorry, I was very impressed by that, even though he didn't get the first down.
The good hands man. Here's the kick. Beckett backpedals, takes it at the 18-yard line. And he slides across the 30 to the 33. Giants lead it 6-0. We'll be back in a moment. McDonough, they'll be updating all of the scores and highlights around the league. To the right side, has the first down, goes out of bounds.
Flag down, Charlie.
Is that, am I right, the second flag that we've seen in the game?
There haven't been that many, but I'll tell you something. The Browns got to do something. The Giants keep running to that right side and keep plays and keep getting first downs and long runs.
Total offense thus far, it's holding against New York. Total offense, the Browns 17 yards. If you're wondering why you've been thinking the Giants have been dominating the telecast, look at that. 125 total yards for the Giants.
It seems like every series Cleveland's had, they seem to be starting on their own 10 or 15-yard line.
Now that was 3rd down about a yard and a half.
Holding, 44, 10 yards.
It's on Carson.
Maurice Carthen, the lead blocker here. Take a look as he's out in front of Hampton. There, he's got a hold. Right there, you can see Minifield. He pulls the jersey away. That's what the official sees, and there goes the flag. Charlie, having been a tight end, I've seen that flag come from center field, well, a few times. Not a number of times, but a few times in my direction.
Third down. Here's the bootleg, and the pass is incomplete. Baker, the intended receiver. It'll be fourth down, and Sean Landeta will be kicking. And here's a man who has four, count them, 4 championship rings.
You know, here's a guy also, Charlie, 43.4 career average, and what's impressive about that is he does it in such inclement weather, which is the reason why he was named the punter of the 80s. Very impressive career for Sean Landeta thus far.
Fields it on one hop, still gets it off. His last kick was 46 yards. Here is Brian Brennan on the return. Excellent coverage by Roger Brown. Now, we mentioned the fact that 4 championship rings. You see the Baltimore and Philadelphia USFL on the right-hand side and the Giants on the left. That's a fistful of diamonds, isn't it?
Also, interestingly enough, he has a teammate who has that same collection of rings. The center, Bart Oates, played on those same teams in the USFL and now with the Giants, who for a period of time also happened to be his snapper. Oh, all sorts of connections here.
Now let's see if Cleveland can get some offense going. Just over 6 minutes to go first half. Kevin Mack is chased out of bounds. Giant defense asserting themselves in the first half.
But once again, the difficulty. Look at the field position for the Cleveland Browns starting on their own 14. Tough enough to drive against the Giant defense, but to ask them to go 86 yards is really asking a lot.
Second down. Mack on the draw, and that doesn't do anything. Couple of yards, maybe 3. It's third down and 7.
You can certainly second-guess the play calling here of Bill Belichick in terms of being conservative. But again, you have to realize that despite the fact that the Giants have dominated in time of possession, the score still is only 6-0. So Bill realizes that his team does not have the talent that the Giants do, but he wants to keep them competitive. So come the fourth quarter, they've still got a shot at it. He doesn't want to make a mistake or have a turnover this deep in his own territory.
Side flags are down, and Metcalf is dropped at the 10. Now, one of the things that the Browns are doing is when Kozar came to the line of scrimmage, there were still 17 seconds on the play clock. He waited until there were 2 seconds.
66. Offense, penalties decline, fourth down.
He waited until there were 2 seconds and then took the snap. The Browns trying to shorten the game on every play. They're trying to use up all of the play clock.
Well, I understand that theory, Charlie, but when you have the ball, you got to do something with the time you're using.
There's pressure, but it is away. A flag is down. And Meggett has the return. It wasn't a flag. That was the marker of where Meggett caught the ball. So there are no flags, and the Giants will start again with excellent field position as Brian Kitchen and Jock Jones make the tackle. Today's NFL Live headlines: Eagles quarterback Jim McMahon believes Philly is more talented than the '85 Chicago Bears that he led to the Super Bowl championship. Strong words. I'm not sure I agree with him. The trend through the first 3 weeks, lower scoring games, has the NFL concerned. 2 blocking mistakes last week by Colts offensive tackle Bubba Paris injured Irv Pankey and Ray Donaldson. Those were the headlines of NFL Live.
Charlie, I hate to disagree fiercely with a BYU alum, but there's no way that Philadelphia team is better than those 15-1 Bears.
Here is Hampton. for about 9.
You know, it was a pretty good coterie of backs they had at Georgia, and Tim Worley, Keith Henderson, and here Rodney Hampton taking a swing pass out to the outside. Avoids Van Waiters, makes him miss, comes upfield, gets 9 yards. It's fair to say that he's feeling his oats. Very confident now, it appears, as the Giants stalemate.
Let's do it again.
Second down. A couple to go for the first down. Ingram's the motion man. The give is to Hampton. Hampton breaks clean right side to the 10, inside at the 5. Makes the move and scores a touchdown.
One of the legitimate concerns of the Cleveland Browns was whether or not the offensive line of the Giants would dominate them at the line of scrimmage, and that's exactly what happened in that case. Hampton able to pick his spots, go the distance.
And so the shutout continues as Matt Barr will attempt the point after.
Seems to be some confusion, Charlie, as to whether or not he might have stepped out of bounds in the sidelines. Didn't appear from our angle that he did. This play is actually supposed to be designed to go inside. You can see he's got so much room there at the line of scrimmage, he's able to cut out, and there's nobody there. Nice stiff arm right here as he's able to... Does he go out of bounds, though?
No, he stays in bounds.
He stayed in bounds. Watch how it's supposed to go inside, but look at the hole that he sees. He follows Maurice Carthen. Van Waiters does a 360, keeps his eyes away, and there he's able to stiff arm Barrett and go the distance. Nice cutback right here to avoid the tackle of Vince Newsom. Hampton has himself a touchdown. 10 carries for 89 yards already.
And the first look that we had is really the best look when you look right down that sideline, if that's what they want to see one more time.
There's not much of a debate there. You know, it's interesting that one of the things Ray Handley was concerned about is that they weren't able to get big plays. Now already in this game in the first half, Rodney Hampton has runs of 44 and 28 yards. Where does the foot end up? Left foot? No. Where's the right foot? Is it on the chalk? Not even close.
No problem. Actually, when you go back to the freeze, you'll notice a change that the NFL has made. One of the reasons is for that type of a replay, and that is the hash marks. They have 3 or 4 inches. They're shy of the sideline, see, right in front of his foot. And that's so that you can get a better look at that call on a replay.
Well, when you can see green between the white sideline and the shoe, that's not that difficult.
That's a giveaway, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a gimme.
Giants up 12-0 and threaten to make it 13. And they do. And so with 3 minutes and 33 seconds left to go in the second period, the Giants out in front of Cleveland by a score of 13-0.
Bill Belichick might have to might have to not be quite so conservative now in these last 3 minutes and 33 seconds.
And here is a program note, NBC tonight, a real-life deep-sea adventure of Mark and Brian. And that, of course, will be followed by Erie, Indiana. And then Man of the People, Pacific Station. And this movie, Sunday night movie, is excellent. Guilty Until Proven Innocent. Prime time on NBC. And what is now going through his mind? When we talked to him yesterday, he was so low-key and talked. And I'm straining to listen. What did he say? What did he say?
Well, to a certain extent, he's learned a little something from Lou Holtz in terms of bad-mouthing his team. Nothing is great. Oh, gosh, we're okay here. We're kind of good here. He's always playing things down, but one of the things that I think it is imperative right here for them is to get a good kick return, because they just have had horrendous field position here in the first half.
From the 5-yard line, Joe Morris to the 30. Good return out across the 30 to about the 32-yard line, where Roger Brown makes the tackle. And so Cleveland starts with pretty good field position. Let's see if they can get something going in the last 3:23 of the first half.
I'm happy for Joe Morris in these last 2 returns. You know, after that first time he handled the ball and fumbled coming back to Giant Stadium. My son has a poster in his room of Joe Morris, and it says, "Are you as tall as Joe Morris?" It's actually a poster that goes up to 5 feet 7 inches tall, and he looks up. And so my son Tori's hoping that eventually he's going to be even with Joe Morris, and in a couple of years he might be.
I asked Joe what does he weigh? He weighs 201 pounds. When he started the league 9 years ago, he weighed 198. I mean, freak show. Here's the swing right side, Kevin Mack. And he'll pick up about 6, maybe 7 on the play. Gary Reasons makes the tackle. Why does Cleveland not go deep?
Well, you know, they did that first play, and you know,
But they haven't gone since then.
No, I think that maybe the Giants have adjusted, and now, as I say, because they have a little bit better field position, I think that they also feel like they don't have to. They're not quite that desperate. They're 13 points down, 2 minutes and 50 in running.
No, but Bernie told us yesterday that they've been going deep more often. And now just plowing straight ahead is Kevin Mack trying to pick up the first down at the 42-yard line. He needed 4. He got almost all of it. Pepper Johnson and John Washington. Washington, the nose tackle, replacing Eric Howard, who's not playing in the ballgame due to that back injury. And they pick up the first down. But offensively, a very conservative first half approach for Cleveland.
Well, I think here it's very important for the Browns to at least get something on the board. You know, they're about 25, 30 yards away from being in field goal position. That would help them immensely to go in having some points.
5 of 8, only 18 yards through the air. Play action, and the pass is incomplete as he goes to the tight end Galbra. And Bernie told us they like to throw on first down because they like to throw on first down against the base offense that they can pick up 5 or 6, and they run on second down against 5 or 6 in the secondary. So they're trying to use their strength against the weakness of the defense, but that has not been effective today.
One of the difficulties, of course, is that not only is this Giant defense have a lot of terrific athletes, they're also a veteran team, and they've seen all the offenses. So it's very difficult to get tendencies where the New York Giant defense is concerned because they adjust so well in the course of the game.
2nd and 10. Kevin Mack near the 50-yard line. We'll take the 2-minute break, and we'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Giant Stadium, where the Giants are out in front of Cleveland by a score of 13-0. I'm Charlie Jones with Todd Christensen. We saw the Giants early in the ball game with a hurry-up offense with a lot of excitement, but nothing really generated off of that. Once they've gone back to their standard, then they played pretty well.
Yeah, 3 of the next 4 series, they decided to score. I think that maybe Ray Hanley felt a little of the pressure from the people in the media and everybody else saying to try something different. But hey, forget it. I'm going to do what works for us best, and that's exactly what's happening with the Giants.
And the defense flag is down. The defense is also working on all cylinders as they drop Kevin Mack for a loss, but there was a flag on the play, as I said, and so we'll see what that brings about. It is against the Browns. It will be refused to make it 4th down and the kicking team to come in.
You know, Lawrence Taylor, one of the things that they debate about him is whether or not he still has the speed. Take a look at how he comes from the backside here, and he's going to run down Kevin Mack going in a different direction. 32 years of age, he can still go after it. You know, I hate to admit this because he said it in the opening, but O.J. Simpson might have been right.
Well, also, he played, Lawrence played golf with O.J. yesterday. I bet he beat him, too. But he was at practice in the morning. Lawrence had a golf club out here. He was swinging the golf club, chipping a golf ball around. He was ready for he was ready to take on O.J.
I'd like to see he and Michael Jordan play golf. Both of them are very, aspire to the Pro Tour. It'd be interesting.
They both are very good golfers.
I think Lawrence will win the long driving contest.
Not necessarily. You saw them both play from Lake Tahoe on NBC last summer, and they should be back again on the Celebrity Golf Association Championship. And Cleveland will stop the clock with a timeout with 1:54 left to go in the first half, and a chance for us now to check in with the 10-minute ticker to see what is going on around the National Football League. Green Bay and Miami now in the second quarter. They are tied Pittsburgh in front of the Eagles now only by 1. New England continues to lead Houston, and if New England can pull that off, that may be the upset of the year. Washington in front of Cincinnati by 7. They've taken control of that ball game. Atlanta continues to lead the Raiders by a score of 7-0. New Orleans, they are for real. Thus far shutting out Minnesota, who beat the 49ers last week. And the Colts leading Detroit by 3. And be sure to be with us at halftime. Domino Pizza's NFL Live halftime report with Bob Costas, O.J. Simpson, and Will McDonough. They'll bring you up to date on all of today's action from around the NFL. Bill Parcells, of course, is with Marv Albert. They are the game down in Philadelphia. Here is the kick. And it goes out of bounds. They'll mark it out at the 8-yard line.
Excellent kick
by Brian Hansen.
One of the things in talking with Sean Landetti yesterday, of course, punters always have a lot of free time, but boy, they really keep track of those statistics. It was a terrific kick inside the 20 there for Brian Hansen, the former punter of the New Orleans Saints.
And what was the story on Dave Jennings that they were talking about? That he was calling the press box during the game to check on the distance of his kick. So I need 4 more yards there. What did they give them on the return out of the end zone? And he said, well, it happened 14 yards. He said, then add 4 more yards on my kick. So if you see the phone busy on the sideline, you might look to see if it's a kicker.
Pete Rose has mental on punters.
Here is Tillman around the right side. He is still going, picked to the first down and then bumped out of bounds. So he picks up the first down with now 1:40 left to go in the first half.
Well, Lewis Tillman is really showing a lot here. He's showing a lot of quickness, and a lot of north and south idea, doing the right thing. A former Jackson State running back, and as I recall, Jackson State had a pretty good runner, number 34.
Yes.
A guy named Peyton.
Yes.
Here you can see the dominance in the total yards there.
Isn't that amazing? 185 yards in total offense, and Cleveland has been held to 27 yards.
Well, we can argue the field position issue, but then again, you also really have to give credit to the defense of the Giants. They've just done a really good job of shutting them down. And as we've mentioned before, you know, Bill Belichick had a game plan going in. I'm sure he had some ideas scripted that he wanted to do, but as often happens, guys like that, LT, and the rest of the Giant defense can change your theories in a big hurry.
How good are the Giants?
I think the Giants are very good. I think that what's happened in the first 3 weeks, you know, you and I had the chance the last couple of days to read over a lot of the articles here, and man, you'd have thought that they had lost 12 straight games the way the press was dealing with them. I mean, you look at it, they defeat San Francisco on a Monday night game. It's a big deal. They have a short week. They lose to the Rams, and that can happen in a short week after a Monday night game. And they lose by a field goal to the Chicago Bears, who are undefeated in Chicago. So, you know, the Giants are a very good team. Just luck hasn't been their way thus far.
Tillman again gets the call and picks up another first down. When we were talking to the head coach of the Giants, Ray Handley, he said a football season is like a marathon, and he said the winners always come out of the lead pack. And our job right now is to get back into that lead pack and position ourselves where we can win it at the end of the season.
Well, I think a team like the New York Giants, who has won 2 Super Bowls and has a number of veteran players, is very cognizant of that. I don't think that any of the players that we have talked to panic by any stretch of the imagination. They're very well aware of the fact that it is a 16-game season, and a 1-2 start does not preclude disaster.
He also said that he is different from his predecessor, Bill Parcells, is that Parcells read the mail and not the newspapers. He said, I read the newspapers, but I don't read the mail.
Well, I thought he was very refreshing in his candor. He wasn't one of those people who acted like he didn't know what was going on and didn't give credence to particular writers. He was very well aware of what was going on, but he didn't let it bother him.
That gets in motion, looks back. Pump fake. High throw right side. Pass is complete. And this is Ingram on the far side. Flag is down.
I think possibly at the last minute somebody might have just got a piece of the face mask. Oh, no. They're going to call him for pushing off. missed that.
We'll go back and take a look as soon as we hear the call.
Offensive pass interference, number 82, 10 yards, still first down.
On Mark Ingram.
Certainly Mark Ingram didn't like that call. You can see him there at the top of the screen. Going to take off.
Yes.
Oh, he didn't like that at all. Definite push-off.
I will say one thing. For a push-off, that's a great push-off if you're going to do it.
Well, the flag comes in very late, and the thing that's confusing about it is, of course, Frank Menifee was backing up into the zone anyway. The push had no consequence whatsoever to the route. Evidently, the official didn't think so.
First down and 20. Here is the draw to Tillman. Out to the 32-yard line.
You know, Lewis Tillman is racking up some serious yards here near the end of the first half, and I can see why Ray Hanley was upset over the fact that he didn't get a chance to run in the Chicago Bear game. He gives him a nice change of pace.
But perhaps the fact that he didn't carry the ball last week, he's coming in with fresh legs. 8 carries, 62 yards rushing.
Not a bad average per carry. It's almost 8 yards.
Tillman again. We'll pick up one more. Clay Matthews and Michael Dean Perry make the tackle.
Well, this is a tough crowd. You got a 13-point lead. You're content with that. The last thing you want to do is fumble or give up a turnover, so they run into the line and they boo. It's amazing. Giants have totally dominated the first half. Boy, these are some tough people to please, huh?
20 seconds and counting left, and 22 seconds on the play clock, and so the Giants can now just wait for the clock to take them all the way to halftime.
Maybe I'm mistaken. Is there somebody on the team who rhymes with booze? You know, like two.
No, you're not. No, you're not. And so it is official. It is halftime. The New York Giants 13 and the Cleveland Browns nothing.
Well, you can see a little bit beleaguered right there. The head coach of the Cleveland Browns, Bill Belichick, he's going to have to go in and get an offensive game plan going.
In the first half, completely dominated by the Giants, are out in front of the Cleveland Browns by a score of 13-0. And of all of the scores, of all the numbers, of all the statistics that we might look at in the first half, probably the lowest is the score of the ballgame of 13-0, because the Cleveland Browns have been able to, in reality, generate absolutely no offense at all.
Well, and a lot of that has to do with the time of possession. Of course, the Giants are dominating there. But when you have two backs, in this case, Tillman, who has nearly 70 yards, and Hampton, who has close to 90, and that's only in one half of play, that's indicative of the fact that the Giants really have had the ball most of the time. You can see right there, the time of possession is nearly 7 minutes more. And look at the total yards. That is really amazing. 204 yards to only 27 for the Cleveland Browns. Bill Belichick and his offensive people have to get something going, or else this game is just going to be completely dominated by the Giants.
You were taking a look, of course, at the Keystone halftime stats. Eric Metcalf, in case you were wondering, is a -7 yards rushing and a -8 yards receiving for a total of -15 yards. That's just indicative, and that's just one number that kind of jumps out at you. What can the Cleveland Browns do offensively in the second half against this Giant defense?
I think one of the things that they have to do is, look the way they were going to start things when they threw that long pass to Michael Jackson. It looked like that they were really going to take some chances early, but after that, they kept starting in field position inside their 20, and they didn't want to take any chances, and the result was that they weren't able to spread that Giant defense at all. And I think that's something that they're definitely going to have to do this half.
Are we looking at a situation where Cleveland comes in here with a record of 2-1? They are not quite as good as their record, and the Giants come in with a record of 1-2, and they're not nearly as bad as that early record might indicate.
And also you have to look at the opponents. The Giants in the first 3 games have played 3 very tough teams in the 49ers, Rams, and Bears. On the other side of the ball, the Browns started the season with Dallas. They went to New England, defeated them 20-0, and of course last week we mentioned the dramatic victory over Cincinnati, who at this point is heading towards 0-4, and so I think that could be fair to say. But again, give the Browns credit for the fact that they're very opportunistic. I think that both coaches conceded the fact that both Ray Hanley felt like he had a more talented team, and Belichick conceded that, and they felt like they had to play their absolute best game to be competitive. And hey, there's still 30 minutes to go.
And and Matt Barr kicking off. And it will be downed in the end zone by Eric Metcalf. And so following the touchback, Cleveland will go to work at their own 20-yard line. I'm almost tempted to say they start with pretty good field position because they can start at their own 20.
Well, I've watched too many games where this man has pulled his team back from the depths. You know, we were talking to Mike Babb yesterday, and he said, you know, over the last couple of years, he says, we've had some games like that, but because during the days of Brian Sipe, when they referred to the cardiac kids, they didn't necessarily give Bernie the same level of credit, but he certainly is capable of bringing his team from behind.
And Michael Jackson's in as one of the wide receivers. When we asked Bernie about him yesterday, he said he is fast. I mean, he is really fast. And his eyes kind of open wide, and he looks as if he wanted to go to him deep. He is covered. He drops it off underneath the coverage to Kevin Mack. And one of the things, of course, that the Giants have done is that they have taken away that deep threat. Their corners have accepted the pressure. Let's take a look at LT and see what he was doing.
LT coming up the field. A little head slap to Dan Fike, but look how quick he comes all the way back out. He rushes the passer, comes out, and tackles Kevin Mack. That's amazing pursuit. 6'3", 243 pounds, and they say that in training camp he still ran a 4.640. That's amazing.
Through the hands of Michael Jackson, it'll be 3rd down and 9. Now let's go back to Lawrence Taylor just for a moment. When we were talking to Bill Belichick, he of course was the defensive coordinator for the Giants, his coach last year, and he said that they would give them tests and they have to draw what everybody does on the defense. And tell him what he said about Lawrence.
We said that Lawrence Taylor was not one who really perused film. He wasn't somebody that got down and got into all the intricacies and nuances of the defense. But he said instinctively he knew what was going on. He could sit down with a piece of paper, and while it took everybody 10 or 15 minutes to pour over it, it took LT about 45 seconds to do it on the paper and threw it at it.
He'd say, I go here, therefore everybody else has to go here. He said he was right every time. 3rd down and 9. Kozar over the middle to Metcalf. Close to the 1st down. He was being chased out of bounds right at the 29-yard line. He had to go to the 30, of course, following the touchback. And he is a yard shy, and the kicking team will come in. We'll go back and take a look.
Metcalf on a crossing pattern right here. A running back by Trey, but showing he has the speed to play wide receiver. Nice tackle right there by Carl Banks, pulling him back. That was awfully close where that mark was, but they said that the ball has to touch the line. Carl Banks does a nice job pulling him back just enough to where he can't cross the plane for the 1st down.
Hanson to kick. There's pressure up the middle, and he barely gets it off. Meggett at the 26, to the 30, and returns near the 38-yard line. Now let's check in with the Hertz 10-minute ticker. Green Bay, Don Shula may have to wait still another week for that victory number 300. Pittsburgh by 1 over Philadelphia. New England still in front of Houston. That's at halftime. Washington now in front of Cincinnati by 2 touchdowns. Raiders and Atlanta tied at halftime. Minnesota trailing New Orleans, and Indianapolis leads Detroit. And here the Giants in front of Cleveland 13-0. And the Giants with their first offensive opportunity of the 2nd half. And here's Hampton. Hampton makes a nice move as he turns the corner. Waiters finally got him. I believe that was Barnett that he cut inside of. Yeah. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
If you can see number 72 coming out, watch Reisenberg right to the left of your screen. Look at Minifield. That's 6'6" and about 300 pounds on 5'10", 185. Those are the kind of mismatches right there that are enabling the Giants to run the ball as effectively as they had. Frank Minifield told us yesterday, he says, I'm going to come up and I'm going to run support, but I also know that come Monday I'm going to be spending a lot of time in the Whirlpool.
Hostetler. He's pretty shifty in the open field, isn't he? He has some nice moves.
Yeah, but that was a nice play by Van Waiters. He could decide whether or not he wanted to throw or run, and Van Waiters does a nice job of taking him out of the play. He looks to his left. There's nobody there. Great protection by his offensive line. Now he waits. Now look, is he going to throw in the flat or is he going to run? He takes off now. He cuts right into Waiters. Waiters does a nice job of pulling him down for an effect no gain. In fact, a loss of a yard.
3rd down and 8. Giants now with 4 wide receivers, 3rd and 8 out of the shotgun. It's over 12 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. They will mark the reception by Ingram, and that will be enough for the first down. They're going to mark it at the 48-yard line. Point of the catch is the point of the game.
Charlie, in fairness to the defense of the Cleveland Browns, they have been devastated in the secondary by injuries. Thane Gash, who was projected as the starting strong safety, is gone for the season with a neck injury. Eric Turner, the number 2 pick in the entire draft, was supposed to be their starting free safety. He's gone. Claiborne, starting corner, he's gone. And both Harper and Blaylock, who are key nickelbacks, they're also out for an indefinite period of time.
And they've lost Mike Johnson today with a bad foot. First down, Giants, 48-yard line. Hampton spins outside. And he'll pick up a yard. That's going to be it. It'll be 2nd down and 9 as Anthony Pleasant was there.
I think that the Giants right here want to do something with Hampton. They want to give him the ball a few more times than necessary. In other words, what I'm saying is that they're controlling the tempo of the game right now, but they want to check his stamina. They want to see whether or not in a game where it's a crucial situation and he's tired, if he can continue to go, say, 20, 25 times. Last week he carried 15.
Carson, the motion man, sets up wide outside. The pass is incomplete to Turner. What they may have been setting up was a hook and ladder. Turner then with a lateral to Carson, who was setting up right down the sideline, but we will not know, of course, because it ends up to be an incomplete pass, and it'll be 3rd down.
Nice protection. They come with a blitz from the outside from Waiters, and it gets picked up. See right behind there in the flat, you can see actually what he was doing. He was running a flat route. He was being covered in the flat by the strong safety. It did look a little bit like that, didn't it? Circa 1982 with Duriel Harris and Tony Nathan. Miami-San Diego playoff game.
Close enough. 3rd down. This is a screen. I love it. Oh, yes. If you're going to throw it to me and I'm William Roberts and I'm a guard, I'm going to catch it. I'm not going to step aside. It's my opportunity.
You know what? He's saying to himself, hey, I know it's incomplete. I know this is going to get called back. But
look
man,
at that.
All the relatives there. This is great.
That may be our camcorder play of the game.
Oh, that's
I
great.
love it. And look at the move. He turns back.
And look at him laughing. Look at him smiling right there. He thinks that's pretty funny. Look at the mitts that he has. You know, a lot of times linemen have to tape their fingers together, and Otis Anderson is scolding it. He's saying, no.
Touching, 66. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
They're giving advice on receiving.
That's right. Now Otis is saying, no, don't backhand it. You got to have your thumbs together, fingers extended.
Look it into the hand.
Look it into the hands. That's great.
Landetta to kick.
But he got confused. Remember in the short yardage situation, he was playing tight end, so maybe that's what he thought.
And the Giants now using up all of the clock. They're trying to shorten the game just a little. Brennan signals for the fair catch, steps away from it, and lets the ball go into the end zone for the touchdown. So we'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. We have 10 minutes and 24 seconds. Time remaining in the 3rd. I had it. That's what he's saying.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Subaru. It's what to drive. By Miller Genuine Draft. Cold filtered for real draft taste. So get out of the old, get into the cold. By ITT Corporation. Building people's dreams. And by Hertz. We never forget who made us #1. We're Hertz. We're America's wheels.
Welcome back to Giants Stadium, where with 10:24 left to go in the third, New York in front of Cleveland by a score of 13-0. This is Charlie Jones and Todd Christensen.
You know, Bill Belichick, you get a chance to look at him here. This is not a man. He's 39 years of age, the youngest coach in the National Football League, but he has been in the National Football League since 1975 as an assistant coach. So despite his youth, he has paid his dues.
Kozar throwing on first down. It is incomplete. Michael Jackson bobbling the ball, couldn't hang on to it. It was a good pass. He should have caught it. You may notice that he is wearing the number 1 as a wide receiver. It's a rule in the National Football League, a wide receiver, you have to wear a number in the 80s. And the reason that he is not wearing a number in the 80s is that in reality, all of the 80 numbers are taken. And here they are, 81, 80, 81, 83, 84, 85. You might say a couple of players are on IR. You might say, where is number 82? We'll talk about that right after this play. Notice how we build the tension on a graphic. Unbelievably how we do this in a 13-0 ball game. Kevin Mack right side, a yard to the 21. It'll be 3rd down and 9. And the reason that you did not see the number 82 on that list is...
There he is, Ozzie Newsome. Potential Hall of Fame tight end, 662 catches in his career, 4th on the all-time list, the leading pass-catching tight end in history, now working as a special scout, an assistant coach for the Cleveland Browns. His number will undoubtedly be retired.
You're right, yes. 3rd down conversion for the Browns, just like the rest of the game. They are 0 for 7. 3rd and 9. Giants defense has simply taken everything away. Flag is down, and the pass is incomplete. Ridden, the intended receiver.
Holding. 66. Offense.
Tony Jones declined. It'll be 4th down. They'll be kicking. You are watching defensive surgeons at work. They are simply cutting up any offensive opportunity that Cleveland might have, and they are. And the Giants' defense looks awesome today. Hanson to kick. Good kick. David Meggett fields it at the 30. To the 40. Ball pops loose. Had it been blown dead? No, Cleveland comes up with it. First big break of the ball game for the Browns since the first 5 minutes of the game, when they recovered a giant fumble when they were going in to score.
I was just about to say that one of the things Dave Meggett does well is not give up the ball and run north and south. It was a good return, about 15 yards, but he gets the ball stripped. Mike Oliphant with the recovery, former Redskin running back. Cuts upfield. Who does the strip job? Right here at the end. Big hit from the back, and he loses the ball. It squirts out. It was number 38, Odie Harris, who comes up with the recovery. Big break for the Browns.
Back in a moment. The Browns with a spark of life. Here's what happened.
Well, Dave Meggett cuts up the field. You're going to see Brian Kinchin come into your screen. Hit him right in the back. He's not expecting it. The ball comes loose. Odie Harris is able to pick it up for a big turnover for the Browns.
And a 1st down at the Giant 46-yard line, trailing 13-0. And Kozar wants to get it all back. He has to drop it underneath the coverage to the tight end Galbraith. He was looking deep all the way to Webster Slaughter. The Giants had him covered, but he comes underneath and he moves to the 25-yard line.
You know, Bernie Kozar is not one of the prettiest quarterbacks in the league by a long shot, but you got to give him credit for resourcefulness. Take a look at him buying time. He knows Lawrence Taylor's coming. Look at the last minute. Just flicks it sidearm, gets it to Galbraith. He's able to run past Pepper Johnson for a big gain. But Bernie, as I say, doesn't look too terribly athletic, but gets it done.
And you know that he can feel this man right behind him. Oh. And it's a 1st down at the 25-yard line. Bernie hands off to Kevin Mack. When Bernie handed off at the 30, his momentum took him all the way back to the 35-yard line, and he took a giant with him, and that was Carl Banks, who was blitzing.
Carl Banks, usually on the outside, is able to find the gap. Now, why he goes after Kozar, I'll never know. He's seen enough offensive sets. He knows he's going to hand the ball off. He should have been running straight at Mack.
Well, he was there. It seemed like the thing to do at the time.
Yeah, it looked nice, but they still got a 6-yard gain.
And it's 2nd and 4. Kevin Mack to the 17-yard line, gain to a couple. His 3rd down and short. And I'm beginning to wonder now, Bernie throwing starts his short drive after the fumble recovery. Now they revert back and they go back to the ground. Why don't they stay in the air?
Well, I think now 3rd and 1, they're going to run with it. Right there, you get a chance to see Everson Walls, who has shifted over from cornerback to strong safety for this game. A guy who's a 4'8", 40 guy who nobody ever liked, but he still came up, as you saw in the last play, met head-on with Kevin Mack.
Mack tries to burrow through at the bottom of the stack. They're going to mark it at the 15-yard line, and if they do, that will be enough for the 1st down.
Furthering on with the story about Everson Walls, of course, people remember him, nickname of Cubby from his Dallas Cowboy days, and as you saw in the graphic, led the league in interceptions 3 separate times. One of the advantages to having Everson Walls in there as strong safety is that when Cleveland or any other team goes to their 4 wide receiver set, they don't have to come in with extra cornerbacks because Everson Walls is good enough at strong safety to cover the wide receivers. Even at age 31, and despite his so-called 4'8", 4'9" speed, he's crafty enough to stay with the best receivers in the league.
Joe Morris is in this offensive set. He's one of the 2 wide receivers on the left side. Kozar has time. Now he's going to run to the right. I love his head fake. That's his maximum. That's warp speed for Kozar, and he throws that little head fake. He's a neat man. I tell you, he'll battle you right down to the very end.
And I got to tell you, what's interesting about that, this was not a slide. Everson Walls, back in the secondary, he has Slaughter to the corner, but they had him double covered. Here he comes up to make the tackle. Now, this isn't a slide. He just loses his feet.
He was trying to cut back inside of it.
Instead of cutting off his right foot, you'll see he'll try to cut off his left foot and go left, and you can't do that. His feet come out from under him there in the AstroTurf. Sees a lot of green, but oops, down I go.
Here he goes, 2nd and 8. Here's pressure, and he's brought down to the jersey. Leonard Marshall got him.
Charlie, it's a given that Lawrence Taylor is a great player. But a lot of people ask the question, who has benefited the most from being on that same side? Here he comes from the backside, makes the tackle on Kozar. He and Taylor have been together now 7 years together on that same side. A lot of Pro Bowls between the 2 of them. A lot of people don't realize that the relatives of Leonard Marshall, he has cousins who include Ernie Ladd and Warren Wells, a couple of pretty good football players.
3rd and 15. Kozar just kind of shovels it to Brennan, and he is dead. Who is he hit?
Take a look at the shovel pass. Watch the shot he takes right there from Mark Collins. Ouch. Some days it doesn't pay to get out of bed, and this is one of those days for Brian Brennan. 3 times now he's made catches and taken shots. You can see Kozar just avoid the sack. Here, take this. Oh, take that. Ouch.
But watch, then he reached out and he pulled the ball in, and he is still stunned.
This is the old boxing adage. Right now, if you could see his eyes, they tell you that Brian Brennan is on Queer Street. He's not feeling too good right now.
Now let's take another look, this time in full speed so you can get a true feeling of the impact. Well, as you were watching watching at home, they had on the big screen here, and you could hear the reaction of the crowd. From the 20, a field goal attempt of 30 yards by the former Giant, Matt Stover. And it is good. And so the Browns are on the board. It's a 13-3 game back at home. We come back to Giant Stadium with 4:13 left to go in the third and a 13-3 ball game. Stover kicking off for the Browns. And Meggett on the return. And he barrels across the 25 out to the 27-yard. And now let's kind of check in through the haze with Brian Brennan.
Right now the trainer is saying, how many fingers? Where are you at? What stadium are you in? True story, Charlie, I got hit so hard one time I didn't know where I was, and I put my hands down and felt the AstroTurf. And that became a tactile sense to me, and it reminded me that I was actually playing a football game. Brian Brennan isn't so sure where he is right now, trying to collect his thoughts. Boy, oh boy. You don't think it's tough to play this game at 5'10", 185 pounds? The Boston College grad showing me a lot of courage today.
First down Giants, and they come back with Hampton. And Vince Newsom makes the defensive play for the Browns. Now let's check in with the Hertz 10-minute ticker. Green Bay comfortably in front of Miami now. Eagles leading Pittsburgh. New England still in front of Houston. Oh, that one is amazing. Washington in front of Cincinnati. And now the Raiders have caught and passed Atlanta. New Orleans continues to shut out Minnesota. Detroit leads the Colts. Here the score, the New York Giants 13, the Cleveland Browns 3. And it is second down and 13. Knocked out of Hostetler's hand. And the Giants recover.
Oh, that was close.
Ooh, yeah. Now you know something that is happening. What is happening is the Giants have dominated all the statistics except the scoreboard. They're leading on the scoreboard. The Browns are hanging around and staying close. They get a break like this, and who knows what might happen.
Well, I was just about to say before that play, there was a not-so-subtle shift of momentum there. You can see Michael Dean Perry, his quickness, getting right past the guard and center to strip Hostetler of the ball. It was actually a very good play for Hostetler to recover the fumble.
And remember yesterday when we gave Michael Dean a ride back to the hotel, he said, I'm a hands guy. And that really points it out because he does have quick hands, and he uses them not only on the offensive line, but when he can get out and slap the football around. Hostetler is in trouble, and he is brought down at the 15-yard line. So that subtle shift of momentum continues. And now Cleveland will come up with excellent field position in the neighborhood of the 50-yard line.
But Charlie, that's 3 straight plays that the Giants had for losses. First, Vince Newsom comes up with a big hit. Michael Dean Perry strips the ball, and now you're going to see great coverage in the secondary, and both Burnett and Clay Matthews are in on the sack of Hostetler.
Sean Landetta. Okay. Good one. Oh, yes. Oh, big kick. Mark this one down. Metcalf, that's the lateral across. And the officials are going to have to let it go. It's right on the borderline.
This is great.
To Benefield.
This is great.
Oh, don't you love it?
This is great. This is just like 2-on-2 football when I played when I was a kid. This is terrific.
And the officials were caught out of position. They can't call.
No, it was a great call. You can see Landetta's arguing the point right now. Now watch what happens. You're not going to be able to tell from this angle. He's going to catch the ball. Where is he? Right there. He's on the 26. Now where does Benefield catch the ball? He catches it on the 26. That's okay. Great play. I love this stuff. It's like rugby.
But when he threw it, Benefield was not there. He had to get back in time. And we'll get back in time in a moment.
Following Sean John Landetta's howitzer of a punt 61 yards. You're going to see that the ball is going to be caught right up here by Metcalf. Now he's going to throw the ball to 27, but take a look. Minifield's not even in the picture yet. Now the argument is whether or not, where does he throw it? Does it end up behind to Minifield? I think it does. If you're going to take a look here, if we can clear it, you can see it's going to be a lateral throw. Right here, Minifield still not yet in the picture. Is it backwards where he ends up catching the ball? Where does he catch the ball? 26-yard line. Absolutely. Right here, 27 to 26. Absolutely, that was a backwards pass. Terrific play by the Cleveland Browns. Man, oh man.
And they have the first down to the giant 47-yard line, and Kevin Mack just powers his way to the 43.
Now, don't do that. I'm sorry. Don't do that. You just got an exciting play. You've taken the crowd out of it. Throw the ball. Do something different.
I'm not calling the play.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry. I know. I patted you on the leg. I'm sorry.
I'll have a
But when you have the momentum going that way, it's standard fare when you get a big turner over a big play like that. You don't want to mute your enthusiasm by just having a guy run into the middle of the field. Throw a 20-yard in, throw a comeback, try a reverse.
I'm going to mute your enthusiasm. Relax. Pressure. Pass is complete. Slaughter to the 25. Slaughter to the 20-yard line. Now, do you like that play?
Yeah, I do. Okay. I like that play a lot.
You're
crossing pattern. Once again, Bernie does a nice job of avoiding the rush. And there actually is a little bit of a pick in the middle of the field you're going to see. It's an accidental one. Right there, gets picked off. Pepper Johnson in the zone. Webster Slaughter, or better known as Webstar Slaughter, able to cut across and make the catch. Watch the pick that's going to happen accidentally in the middle of the field. He's trying to get lost. Now watch Reasons get picked off by Mack. Maybe not so accidentally. Maybe not so accidentally. Big first down for the Browns on the 20.
And Mack right up the middle to the 10, to the 7-yard line. Now, this is the same play you were criticizing a moment ago. See how it works?
Well, sure, it works after the 25-yard gain. This is what's called a wham play. You're going to see in motion number 44, Lee Rousson, come down and wham on the nose guard, John Washington, and that enables a big hole for Mack to cut through to the middle to the 7-yard line for the Browns. And this is not the same team that was playing in the first half.
First down, goal to go just outside the 7-yard line. We're taking the countdown to the end of the third quarter. That is the end of the third quarter. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. This is Charlie Jones, Todd Christensen, Giants Stadium. The Cleveland Browns just hanging around and now have an opportunity to get right in the midst of this ball game. First down and goal to go. 7-yard line. They trail by 10. As you can see, they're losing on all of the points through the first 3 quarters as far as statistics are concerned.
Big key there that's keeping the Browns around, of course, is the 3 turnovers.
Now look at the possession zone. Possession time, 30 minutes to 15 minutes. Kevin Mack, touchdown, Cleveland.
Charlie, once again, that is a terrific job by Bernie Kosar to buy the time and flip the ball to Kevin Mack. Bernie Kosar makes that play. Kevin Mack actually is supposed to be a blocker in that situation. Watch as Kosar goes off to the left of your screen. There, look at Mack right there. He's supposed to be blocking. Now all of a sudden, Wilbur Marshall Washington is there. He's able to flick it off. There's nobody there to cover him because he was in to block. Great resourcefulness on the part of Bernie Kosar to get the Cleveland Browns that touchdown, even though Kevin Mack carried it across the goal line. And I think it's fair to say that this is a brand new game.
On 36. And the extra point is good. And before we step away for a moment, take one more look at the hit that Bernie Kosar took.
Bernie Kosar, about 6'5" and a not so well distributed 200 pounds, takes a terrific shot there from Washington and Marshall, but that's okay because the byproduct is they're only down now by 3.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Call Domino's Pizza right now and you'll be enjoying a hot, delicious pizza when the game is over.
It is suddenly quiet in Giant Stadium.
One of the best feelings you can have as a player is when you are visiting and to make a big crowd like this be quiet.
And here's the kickoff. Ingram takes it at the 3 to the 10 to the 20. And he is bulldogged to the 25-yard line. And while you are away, this is LT on the sideline.
Well, LT has been playing hard. He's made some big plays, but he's a little bit disgusted right now. His Giant team has dominated in every way statistically, but he looks up at the scoreboard and realizes they're only up by 3 points. And the Boo Birds have come out once again.
14:45, time remaining in the ball game. The Giants not only want to pick up some more points, they want to work as much time as possible off of the clock here in the fourth quarter. And they open on the ground with Tillman, and Tillman will pick up the first down. He has a spark for the Giants. Will step across the river. Here's Bob Costas.
Charlie, good one going in Atlanta after Jay Schrader's second touchdown pass of the day gave the Raiders a brief 14-7 lead. Here's Chris Miller off the play-action fake, finding Steve Broussard, 25-yard touchdown, ties it at 14 late in the third in Atlanta. Charlie?
All right, thank you, Bob. Here the Giants with the ball leading by 3 over the Browns, 13-10. Lots of time remaining and a first down at their own 36-yard line. Tillman again. He has been impressive.
The
flag is down.
I think they're going to call Howard Cross for holding, and he doesn't like it.
Hilliard with the tackle.
And he and Van Waiters are sitting there discussing it. He's saying, "You're holding me." I'm saying, "No, I'm not. You want some of me?" Interestingly enough, there's a story. Howard Cross, when he was at Alabama at the SEC, he received the award. I didn't even know they had this thing called the Jacobs Trophy as the Southeastern Conference Outstanding Blocker.
Holding. 87. 10 yards, still first down.
The same award I had in the WAC conference, as I recall. Do you remember that, Charlie?
A blocking award?
Okay,
You're
all right.
kidding me. You're kidding me.
You know, when we
Bill Belichick came up to you and he said, "Hey, Greg, we can sure use it if you can block."
Cold shot.
Well, he did. I'm just quoting the coach.
Howard Cross taking the place of the injured Mark Navarro for the New York Giants.
Little swing right side, Tillman. Just across the 30-yard line. Navarro, of course, injured and retired, as you know.
Well, now my understanding is that he came out, he works out from time to time, working out at the Giant facilities. But there's an outside possibility that he might come back next year. Yeah, the Giant, you know, when they had the big hassle over cutting him off like an old cleat and not paying him his money, the Giants decided to rescind that, gave him half his salary to come back and work out.
And you think he can come back?
Well, from my understanding, the knee injury is degenerative, and it would be very doubtful. But then again, this is one of the all-time tough guys, so who knows?
What a story if he does.
Yeah, indeed.
2nd and 16. We'll play action fake. Here's pressure. He steps away from it and is out of bounds. So it's going to be 3rd and long. Michael Dean Perry making the play for the Cleveland Browns.
You know, the chemistry of a game is very funny. You know, in the first half, the offensive line of the New York Giants just continued to shut down the Cleveland Browns. Now, all of a sudden, the same situations where they were getting no pass rush. You've got the Rob Burnett's and the Anthony Pleasants and the Michael Dean Perrys chasing Hostetler all over the field. The fans, of course, are booing Hostetler and they're chanting for Sims, but I don't think it's his fault. I just don't think the offensive line is as dominating in the second half as they have been in the first.
And Rob Burnett had the initial rush that chased Hostetler through the sideline. All the time in the world, and he goes deep over the middle. This is going to be short by about half a yard to Odessa Turner.
Now, the Giants in the past, Charlie, under Bill Parcells were the type that in this situation they would go for a first down. I'll be interested to see what Ray Hanley decides here as running back coach. He's sending Howard Cross out. Oh, no. They're going to punt. I'm surprised here. I thought they'd take a chance here and shift the momentum their way, but they're not going to.
The possibility of a fake always looms in this situation.
Well, but if I'm the Cleveland Browns, I know that. I just say you go with what's called your safe package, which means you're looking at all the people that are eligible.
Sean Vendetta to kick.
Considering the way the Giants have been running the ball earlier, I'm surprised because that's about a half yard there at midfield.
Metcalf through the 20, gets the tackle, jumps over another one, that's it. Tillman is down very quickly for the Giants. We'll be back in just a moment.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Mitsubishi, bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around. By First Brands Corporation, makers of Prestone Advanced Formula Antifreeze. By Coors Light, the silver bullet is the right beer now. And by Right Guard Sports Stick, anything less would be uncivilized.
As we come back to the ballgame, you're not going to believe this. This is an MDP on a sesame seed bun. Now tell me why I'm here.
Well, you know, Michael Jordan was the only one that had a sandwich named after him from McDonald's, but in Cleveland, this is Michael Dean Perry's 3 cheeseburgers, onions, pickles, lettuce on a sesame seed bun. And you know what the name of it is, don't you?
It is?
It's called the McNot-So-Lean.
And you get all that for under $2. It's amazing. Cleveland comes back and they open on the ground. Still a lot of time as we're moving on the 11-minute mark. Time remaining. Joe Morris the ball carried. Gary Reasons making the tackle. Did you save the burger? Don't let it get out of you.
No, I agree. That's a good-looking sandwich.
Yeah.
Believe me, that is a meal and a burger right there.
Oh, by the way, those of you around the country that are watching, that is only available, being test marketed in the Cleveland area. And the press box at Giants.
That's right, the press box. That's right. He's stopping it.
2nd and 9. And we have whistle and flag. And Dan Pike.
You know, you give a lot of credit to Carl Banks. He steps up in the middle, and he's going to blitz again, and he's able to draw the right tackle off.
69 offense prior to the snap. Still 2nd down.
Dan Fike was driven off by Carl Banks as he came up. Watch Carl Banks in the middle of the field start jumping like he's going to, right here. Am I coming? Am I coming? All of a sudden he stutters, and there you can see, not quite to the right of your screen, but you can see the movement by the left defensive tackle indicate that it was Dan Fike who couldn't sit still and created the 5-yard penalty. Veteran savvy on the part of Carl Banks.
Not a lot of penalties in the ballgame. 2nd and 14. Ozark chase, pass is complete. Kevin Mack, and Mack to the 25-yard line, where he is nailed by Pepper Johnson.
And Mark Collins came up and made a good play. That was actually a pretty good defense to have the screen pass going there. Lawrence Taylor coming from now the other side of the field. He's going to come from the right part of your screen. Kevin Mack lets him go because he's set up for the screen. Now take a look. Watch Mark Collins at the top of your screen, number 25. Knife in the middle there and cut his legs out from under it. The guard leading the play was unable to get Collins out of the play. That was Ed King who should have got him, but he missed him, and Collins with a big defensive play saved the 1st down.
The speedster Michael Jackson wide to the near side. Do you go deep? They got double coverage dropping back on him.
I go to Brian Brennan for the 1st down.
He goes for the 1st down, but it is to Webster Slaughter, who was coming across, and Guyton makes the tackle.
Big play for the Browns here, who appear that they might be in, no, they're not in a hurry up. Little out route, he's able to get away from Everson Walls, who decides to go after the wrong guy. You know, Bill Belichick told us yesterday, if you notice there, he runs off and goes to double team on Metcalf, leaves him alone. He told us that one of the reasons Metcalf's numbers are down is because he is double teamed. A lot of other guys are getting single coverage. In that case, it was Slaughter who benefited.
And as you were talking, we were watching the reaction of Art Modell of the Cleveland Browns. Kevin Mack over the middle. After that 1st down to the 38-yard line, it'll be 2nd down and 10. The ball still at the 38. Now let's check the Fram 10-minute ticker to see what else is happening. Now, Miami now has tied up Green Bay 13-13. Pittsburgh still trailing. Houston is still trailing late in the 3rd at New England. I'm amazed at that one. Cincinnati, Washington now getting interesting. Raiders and Atlanta tied. New Orleans leads and Detroit leads. Detroit coming from behind against the Colts, now comfortably in front. Kevin Mack, and he roars over the right side. Good blocking by Babb, King, and Fike on that right side of the line for the Browns. Everson Walls with the tackle. Here you can see them. And
right side of the line, you can see Lee Roussan, the former Giant, leading in. You know, those holes were not there in the first half. You got to give Ed King and Dan Fike credit. They're doing a good job on the left side of the defensive line for the Giants, against the Giants rather.
Third down and 2 with 7:25 left to go in the ball game. It'll be close. Let's see where they mark it. Kevin Mack. No, they're going to move it back. He may not make it from there.
From where he ran in, they called it a little bit short, and I wouldn't be surprised if Bill Belichick in this situation might go for it. From our vantage point right here, it does look just a little bit short. That might have been, again, at the risk of second guessing, but of course we're broadcasters, that's our job. That might have been a good opportunity to go with the fake play action pass there.
What about here? I think they'll go for it.
See, if you go for it on third down, of course, if you blow it, okay, it's 4th and 2, we punt. In this situation, if you blow it, you hand the Giants the ball where they only have to go 15 or 20 yards for field goal range. And a 6-point lead at this juncture is much bigger than 3. Really?
It's amazing how mathematically inclined you are.
I'm telling you.
No, I'm just sitting here mulling the possibilities, and I think they will go for it. I think they should go for it.
That's what's
happening. Put it on the game. They put it on the line right now with just over 7 minutes to go.
One thing I think would be helpful here if they decide to do it is to spread their offense out a little bit. If they bunch in there, that enables the Giant defense to bunch in as well.
This could determine the ball game.
Nice cut! Nice cut! Oh!
Kevin Mack to the 45-yard line of the Giants. Myron Guyton with the tackle.
As I mentioned, everybody bunches in, and Kevin Mack does a fabulous job. He cuts out. There's nobody there but Myron Guyton. Now he needs to make a little bit of a move. He loses his feet. What's Art Modell's reaction to this? Oh, go, go.
All right.
He said go. He wanted more than the first down. He saw Mack got a chance to go the distance, but lost his footing.
Kevin Mack to the 38-yard line. Gain of 7. 2nd down and 3.
You know, when we talked to Mike Babb yesterday, he told us that Ed King could be as good as any guard he's been around. And, of course, there was a man who played for New England with the likes of guys named Hanna. If you notice right now, they've been running to the right side of both Dan Fike and Ed King. They found a weakness over there in the Giants, and they're exploiting it.
And he also said about this time of the year, a Super Bowl team gets a little glow about it. I don't think the Giants have that glow yet. They do on this play as they stop Joe Moore for no gain.
Well, again, I don't know if Kevin Mack was tired, but when you're pounding it to the right side, you want to pound it with your big backs. Joe Morris at 5'7", 200 isn't that guy. They should have been staying with Kevin Mack.
Mack's off to the sideline taking a breather.
You know, it's really hard, Charlie, if you're Joe Morris to be sitting on the bench, you know, and come in and get a kick once every, 3 or 4 series. That's just too tough.
Mack 20 carries, 71 yards, and a touchdown. Third down and a long 2, almost 3. Play action and great defensive play. Oh, Carl Banks. Brilliant play. Absolutely brilliant. Made it when he had to.
This is a misdirection play that's supposed to have him fooled to the right, but Carl Banks isn't buying it for a minute.
And look who was a step away.
The guard pulls out. John Rienstra has to cut him, and he was unable to do it. Great play by Carl Banks.
And so Hanson will be punting. 4:44. Time moving on. Haggett for a catch. It is caught by Stephen Bragg, and a flag is down. And he just...
I don't know, Charlie, if it's that Star Patrol face mask or not.
I think it is.
But you know what happens is when you're a sprinter on the punt team and you know it's going to be inside the 20, you know that this guy is faking it. Well, all of a sudden, Meggett isn't faking it. He's going to catch it on the 9. Braggs cuts in front of him. He doesn't know where he is on the field.
But look at Meggett. Meggett's saying, what happened?
Interference with the opportunity to make the catch. 15 yards. Be a first down. Timeout.
And you know something? I don't agree with that rule because he was going to catch it anyway. Why penalize it? We'll discuss it in a moment.
The Dolphins. The Jets. Rocking the Big Apple. Next Sunday.
This is a correct call by the officials. I just don't agree with the rule.
Well, one of the things here is the reason they have the ruling is to protect Meggett from getting shelled before he even gets the ball. As I mentioned, the sprinters are supposed to go down there and make the catch. But even if he lets him have the catch, it's only on the 9-yard line. Instead, now it's on the 25-yard line. A big difference for the Giants.
In that case, I think it ought to be maybe a 5-yard penalty, but not a full 15. Tillman?
Yeah, I agree with you, Charlie, because what they could do in that situation is they could do the same thing they do with the face mask penalty. If it's a deliberate face mask, they mark out 15. In that case, sure, he interferes with him, but nobody got hurt. That should have been a 5-yard penalty.
So the Giants start from their own 25-yard line. Now a pickup of 7. They're at the 32, and it is second down and 3. As we move on the 4-minute mark, time remaining in the ball game, and the Giants leading in a close one, 13-10. Second half. Ooh, look at that turnaround. The Giants dominating the first half total offense. Browns the second half. Now it's up to the Browns defense to give them one more opportunity if they are to win the ball game. The Giants offense can control the ball and run out the clock, use up all the time, and meanwhile try and score some points. Tillman carries. First down, New York.
You know, throughout the broadcast, I've been mentioning that Rodney Hampton is going to be their guy they continue to go to, but I find it interesting that for a man who did not play a single down last week, Lewis Tillman is being put in some very crucial situations. That's a big first down for the Giants. He's done some good things today. I'm sure he's opened some eyes there in the Giant coaching staff.
You know, and Ray Handley told us yesterday, he said the one thing that I'm sorry about in the Bears game that I did not play Tillman. Well, he certainly made up for that today.
12 carries for 87 yards. Very impressive.
First down at the Giants' 38-yard line. Rodney Hampton carries to the 40. Gain of a couple, it'll be second down and 8. And now with 2:49 left in the ball game, Cleveland takes the timeout. We'll be back in a moment. 2:49. Now Cleveland managing the clock. They're taking their timeouts prior to the 2-minute warning, and then they'll use the 2-minute warning, figuring they want to use their timeouts while they are on defense, because once they get on offense, they can control the clock without taking timeouts, or they can control the clock if they don't have any timeouts.
Well, certainly as proven by last week in that last drive against the Cincinnati Bengals, Bernie Kosar proves that he can indeed manage the clock and he can move them up the field. So what has to happen right now, obviously, is that the Cleveland front 7 has to suck it up and stop the Giants from running the ball down their throats.
Second down and 8. They stay on the ground, and it is Hampton to the 46-yard line, gain of 6. It is third down and 2. Now Cleveland will take their second timeout. They have one timeout remaining, and we'll step aside one more time. 2:38 left to go in the game. Giants lead by 3. We come back with an update of the 10-minute ticker. Miami now leading Green Bay by 3 in the fourth quarter. And again, a reminder, Don Shula going for victory number 300. Only George Halas has more at 325. Eagles in front of Pittsburgh. New England still leading Houston. That is amazing there in the fourth quarter. Washington, Cincinnati getting close. Atlanta 7 in front of the Raiders. Minnesota still being shut out by New Orleans for the Saints. They are really for real. And Detroit in front of the Colts. Hampton, it is going. He stretches out. He'll pick up the first down. And that also will take him across the 100 mark rushing in the ballgame. But
you know, Bill Belichick is still on top of it. He calls the timeout. It doesn't look good at this point, but he knows the 2-minute warning is going to stop it, and he knows if they can hold him this next series, they can still get it back. Nice effort here by Rodney Hampton. Gets stopped in the middle there by Burnett, but he's able to lunge forward for the first down. Hoping to get him stopped. Bill Belichick takes a look. Pretty much impassive, but he gets the timeout.
And he told us yesterday that you've got to be tough to play the Giants. You have to stand in against them. And that is the challenge that they have right now.
Well, with 2 minutes and 26 seconds, they'll run one play. It'll go down to the 2-minute warning. Then they'll be able to burn off most of a minute. So Cleveland should get the ball back if they can hold them, I'm saying, with around 50 seconds to a minute left.
And it's official for Hampton. 15 carries, 101 yards rushing. And a first down at the Giant 49-yard line. Hampton again this time. He's going to get a yard and a half, probably mark it for 2. It'll be second down and 8 or just over 8 to go. And the Giants, of course, now will take the clock all the way down to the 2-minute warning. As Cleveland out of timeouts and trailing by 3. The Giants on top 13-10, 2 minutes left to go, and we'll be back in a moment. March is the 50-yard line, so it is second down and 9. 2 minutes left to go in the ball game. Giants in possession. They lead by 3. And Tillman goes to the 44-yard line, so he picks up 6. And it'll be third down and 3. And meanwhile, on the sideline, Bernie Kosar has been talking to his troops. He said, when we get our opportunity, if we get our opportunity, he's setting up the first 2 plays, what we're going to do, what to look for, keys to be alert on, getting everybody set and ready to go if they have the opportunity. Meanwhile, of course, the Giants will take all the seconds they possibly can off of the play clock. 15 seconds and counting on the play clock.
Once again, interesting to see that Tillman is in the game at this point. Crucial junction for the Giants, and there he is at tailback.
Third down opportunity. And the defense is waiting. And so it will be fourth down after a loss of a couple, as James Jones, the rookie from Northern Iowa, was there. And so you look now for the Giants to take the clock all the way down. It's 36 and counting. Now on the left, of course, is the play clock. On the right is the game clock. And the Giants will take it all the way down, then kick it to give Cleveland as little time as possible. You know, they're going to kick with around 21, 22 seconds to go. And then the ball in the air and 3 or 4 seconds in the return. They will be lucky if they have 15 seconds left. Are they going to take it all down and let the clock stop?
I think that's what they're going to do.
You know whose idea that is? That's the punter's idea, because he gets 5 more yards on his average.
That's exactly right.
He told us, we gave him a ride to practice yesterday, and he was telling us about that extra 5 yards in this type of a situation when they take the clock all the way down. He said, don't kid yourself. The kickers, we want it for our average.
Now, this is interesting. They refused the penalty. I would have thought that they would have been inclined to take the penalty just because of the field position situation. Give them a chance to get some extra yards.
Maybe he wants to hurt his hand. Vendetta gets vendetta. I think that's the reason. Go for the block. Gets it away.
Not a very good average punt, but Sean Landeta has had only 1 punt block in his 8 years. He is one of 3 Giants, by the way, who made the Pro Bowl last year as special teams players. The only time in history that has happened in the National Football League, which says a lot for the special teams play of the New York Giants.
They said they'd have about 15 seconds left. They're going to have 13 left. Yards for a touchdown. We need to go 50 yards for a field goal attempt, maybe 60 yards, 50 to 60 yards for a field goal attempt for a tie.
Well, we harken back to the Atlanta days of the Hail Mary, and who knows?
it is incomplete over the middle. And Webster Slaughter was in the grasp.
Well, you know what happened?
Of Adrian White. Did he fall down into him?
Charlie, you know what happens in that situation? Everybody is tuned into the Hail Mary. You got the 3 wide receivers on the other side of the field. Nobody's paying any attention to Webster Slaughter. Watch the left of your screen. You're going to see Webster Slaughter coming in on the in route. Now watch number 36, Adrian White. He just tackled him. Flat out tackled him.
Has to be pass interference. I'm not sure anybody saw it.
Obviously not.
Or if they did, they didn't. And defensively, that's a good play to make, because better to tackle and take a penalty than it is to let him catch something and bust it long. Hurry, Bernie, hurry! He's down and time is out.
Lawrence Taylor with the sack at the end.
Is there a flag down? Yes, there's a flag. Hold it. The flag at the 7-yard line.
Now it's a personal foul, roughing the passer, so the game can't end on that play.
Not on a defensive foul. We'll have the penalty and one more play. So it's not over yet.
I didn't see it at the end. It appeared that maybe one of the linemen fell on the top of Bernie's head.
Number 96, a late hit.
Here he fades out to the left. Now watch the speed of Lawrence Taylor. He runs him down. But
That's spearing. That's a delayed hit. That's spearing.
Little spear there by Canavas McGee.
Yep.
And they got to call that. Good call by the official.
I know, just a little sidebar to this man. His mother answers all of his fan mail. He has a hefty garbage bag, takes them out.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. She does all the fan mail.
But he also said that he signs them all.
He signs them all.
That's great.
He signs them all.
I like that.
Got to see if he can put his signature to this ball game.
Now Lawrence Taylor's offsides. They're going to do it all over again.
There's another flag. Hold it. Hold it.
They're going to get 5 yards closer because Lawrence Taylor anticipated the count and jumped offside.
So that means I've got time to thank Ron Zitkowski, Jim M. Laughlin, Mike Albert, Frank Zukowski, all for working with us in the booth. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Charlie, I must say, even though that this game is denigrated into kind of a mess here at the end with the penalties, I have to say that with the individuality that seems to have been squelched in the first couple of weeks, you know, because of the end zone celebrations, to see that play and that lateral play earlier in the game.
Covered. Number 56 on the defense was offsides. The penalties will both be accepted. Will extend for another play.
What he meant, they're offsetting is what he meant.
So the point that I wanted to make from that is that it just is so exciting to me to see something that novel occur. And I think it's just great.
This is a true prevent defense, and you can scan back. The Giants have 3 plays. Look at that. They have 3 way down to the right.
You got all these defensive backs wanting to get a cheap interception.
Tipped out of bounds. It is incomplete. There are no flags. It is official. And as most head coaches do, Ray Handley and Bill Belichick, just the acknowledging wave across the field. The final score, Giants 13, Cleveland 10, and exactly what you were talking about. The play of the game is the Canon camcorder replay of the game.
Well, here comes Sean Landetta, as we mentioned, the punter of the 80s. And he's going to get off an absolute satellite, a 60-yarder. But who could have guessed what's going to happen here? Terry Metcalf is going to take it. Eric Metcalf, a paternal thing. Sorry about that. Throws the ball across the field to Frank Minifield. Very exciting. 4-on-4 football. Everybody plays it from Central Park to Long Beach. Exciting stuff for the Cleveland Browns. That's our Canon camcorder replay of the game.
And so in a game that all of the statistics except one completely dominated by the Giants,